So, an unchanged starting 11 for Russell Slade. Not surprising after last weekend's result at Bolton that the manager's decided against any changes. As for our opponents at Sheffield Wednesday, they've come a little bit up under the radar this season. They've been sort of, a bottom half side for many a year now, but this year look genuine contenders.
Yeah, they do. You get surprise packages every year in the Championship, and if you look at the top of the Championship table at the moment, there's a very solid looking 5 teams, aren't there, that maybe Brighton aside we expected to be up there and battling this year. They're teams that have a long period of stability, and they've spent big at this level. Sheffield Wednesday not that, you said. They had a good solid season last year under Stuart Gray, just taken over Fulham of course, and have now turned that solid platform into a genuine playoff contenders this season.
Speak about solid platform, Michael Turner back into the heart of defence allows Sam Hutchinson to push that back into a more natural sort of middle of the park.
Yeah, it's difficult to know what Sam Hutchinson's natural position is. I think he looks better at centre half, but they don't have a great deal of options in the middle of the park, this Sheffield Wednesday team, so he moves back in there. Great start. He's got 10 yellow cards already this season playing in the centre of midfield. That's phenomenal work. What's Whittingham got for us 5-6? So another 40% on top of that. That's good work. Yeah, he's missed two games through suspensions already. He's another 5 yellow card shot with 3 match ban, which speaks his own story. But Michael Turner's a very experienced centre half to come in at this level and play alongside Glenn Lubins. That's a very experienced looking centre half partnership.
Well, I'm reluctant to ask you this after seeing you chinwagging with Glenn in the tunnel, reminiscing about years gone by. We've seen Glenn Lubins play against us for Celtic and Sheffield Wednesday in recent years. Is he still good enough at this level for a side that wants to get promoted?
Yeah, I think he is. I've always had
Do
a
you
lot
mean
of time
that, or is it just?
No, I've always had a lot of time for Glenn Lubins, and I think like all centre halves, more so these days, it's about pairing that you get, not necessarily the individual talents of a central defender. I think even the best central defenders can look ordinary on the day if you pair him with the wrong person. I'm not sure how him and Michael Turner are going to pair, to be honest. They haven't played together for a couple of months now. Turner got injured pretty soon after arriving on loan at Sheffield Wednesday, and he's missed an awful lot of time. But I think he's a good enough centre-half, Turner, that he shouldn't show too much rustiness dropping into the Championship. He did okay at Fulham last year, but he sat out such a long amount of football not playing at Norwich. It's difficult to know what he's got left in the legs coming back in from the cold.
No Joe Mason today for Cardiff. Tony Watt playing there. With Turner and Lubins playing there, is it perfect for Tony Watt to be the sort of player to run in behind and exploit maybe a lack of pace?
I think so. I think those are 2 centre halves that aren't going to enjoy getting dragged out into the channels, which is what Tony Watt did incredibly well last week away at Bolton. He almost the 2 Bolton centre halves are so adamant that they didn't want to go into those situations. They put extra onus on the fullbacks to go with him instead, and they couldn't handle him, quite frankly. They're not going to enjoy getting pulled away, the centre halves, and I think that means a lot more onus on Sam Hutchinson to really drop deep and maybe have to fill that gap between the 2 centre halves, which could play into his hands actually, because he's a very deep lying central midfield player, and that could play to his strengths.
You'd like to think Cardiff will play with confidence today on the back of those 3 goals at Bolton, but Sheffield Wednesday have a marksman themselves. Lucas João has been predominantly used from the bench, but has scored I think 7 goals already.
He has. He's done really well. First season in English football, in from Portuguese football. Difficult to settle in when you're in a new country. Relatively young guy as well. We know the difference that brings when you move into a new culture. But he settled in really well. I think Carlos Carvajal's been very sensible with him. He's used him off the bench a lot. He scored goals off the bench, and then he hasn't put undue pressure on him by being forced to start him despite his goal scoring record. He's now kind of found his feet a little bit, and now he's cemented into the starting lineup, having had 2 or 3 months in his back pocket of experience, and he looks lively. He's a big, strong lad. He's got a bit of pace about him as well, and he certainly knows where the back of the net is. And in a player like Fernando Forestieri, we spoke a lot in pre-season with our strikers about how much they all seem to like playing with Joe Mason, because he brings the best out of you as a number 9. And I think Fernando Forestieri is a very similar guy. He makes very unselfish runs. He's got that ability, like Tony Watt showed last week, to pick up the ball from deep and drive at the defence, which really takes a lot of pressure away from you as a lone striker almost in sharp then.
Forgotten at Watford, but a key player this season for Sheffield Wednesday, Forestieri. We've got a clash ahead of us today. Nobody quite expected it to be this sort of pressure on a game between Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday going into the Christmas break, but it's proved to be a really decisive game. 3 points will take Cardiff away from the Owls and potentially closer to Burnley in 5th spot. The game is coming up soon. We'll leave you with some training shots, some warm-ups prior to kick-off.